Hello, I'm James Preston and thanks for tuning in to Kalkine TV, and this is the Global Markets Roundup show live from Sydney. In this program we take a look at all the major movements from the world's major markets. Let's begin in the US. The Dow Jones closed higher while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq drifted on Friday, October 22, after Federal Chair Jerome Powell's tapering remarks weighed heavily on the investor sentiment. However, the optimism over the robust earnings has pushed the indices towards their third consecutive week of gains. The S&P 500 was down by 0.11%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average increased by 0.21%, and the Nasdaq Composite Index fell by 0.82%, whilst the Russell Small Cap 2000 was down 0.21%. On Friday, Jerome Powell stated that the central bank should start dialing back its asset buying program soon, while suggesting that the interest rate shouldn't be increased as of now. While strong earnings results have lifted the investors' confidence in recent weeks, the remarks from the federal chair raised concerns for investors. The Fed has reassured that the interest rate will be kept at the near zero level until the economy returns to its expected employment, and inflation would also come under the Fed's expectation level of 2%. Meanwhile, the supply chain disruptions and the rising costs of the raw materials indicated that inflation is likely to stay above the level for some time. The financial and the real estate sector topped the S&P 500 index on Friday, with communication services and consumer discretionary sectors as the bottom movers. 8 of the 11 critical sectors of the S&P 500 index stayed in positive territory. And moving on to the futures and commodities space, gold futures were up by 0.71% and silver increased by 0.86%, while copper fell by 1.24%. Brent oil futures increased by 1.55% and WTI crude was up by 2.06%. As for the bond market, the 30-year Treasury bond yields were down by 2.47%, while the 10-year bond yields fell by 1.91%. US dollar futures had their index also decreased by 0.17%. And now it's time for a very small break, but stay tuned as I'll be back with more information, particularly pertaining to the UK and Australian market, in just a moment. Hi there, James Preston for Kalkine TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google, to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. Kalkine's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Thursday on the Tech Beat, exclusive to Kalkine TV. Welcome back, I'm James and you're watching the Global Markets Roundup show exclusive to Kalkine TV. Let's now move on to the United Kingdom. UK shares fared relatively well, with the benchmark FTSE 100 nearing its 52-week high. The market index registered an intraday high of 7,235.19, led by the market-wide buying in top 10 shares by market capitalisation. The stock of AstraZeneca, which jumped by 1.71%, provided the biggest boost to the index, while the stock of London Stock Exchange Group, which was down by 5.37%, contributed to the downside. Other blue chip gainers amid the index include shares of Unilever, up by 1.11%, HSBC Holdings, which were up by 0.3%, Royal Dutch Shell was also up by 0.35%, GlaxoSmithKline was up by 0.89%, and Rio Tinto was up by 1.76%. On the home front, Australian shares are expected to start the week on Monday on a positive note amid optimism over robust company earnings, despite Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's bond tapering remarks weighing on investor sentiment. On Friday, the ASX 200 rose slightly to 7,415.5. Additionally, iron ore prices also rebounded on Friday, with the benchmark iron ore price rising 2.2%. Alright, well that's all for now. Keep watching Kalkine TV for more live market updates and the latest business news. I'm James Preston reporting for Kalkine.